Road Podcast, telling the stories of the South Texas racers from the past and present.
Hello, and welcome to the Thunder Road Podcast. We are filming here at the Top Hat Signs and Design Studio. My name is James Parks. Many of you know me, though some of you don't, so I'll introduce myself and give you a brief rundown. I'm an avid racer and supporter of local racing. My family and I have multiple small businesses that are tied directly to racing, whether it be stock cars and or go-karts. We have and will continue to support local racing as long as we can. The Thunder Road Podcast has been an idea of mine for quite a while now. My busy schedule has always pushed this venture back, but now it is time that we move forward. So I was mowing my grass one day and I realized, I'm not going to be able to hear Dad tell his stories again. I'm not going to be able to hear the stories of Grandpa racing or my dad racing. And I thought, what can I do to maybe not let that happen to other families? And I thought, well, maybe if we get a podcast together, we can do that and have the families tell us the stories or the racers themselves. That's the key, is just to get the stories out there, to be able to keep them for future generations, because once those drivers and racers are gone, we lose those stories, and that really, really bothers me. So hopefully the Thunder Road Podcast can solve that problem. So to make this idea work, we need your help. As an audience, we need y'all to contact some of the old racers, some of their families, to get these stories and get these ideas out there. So reach out to us through the Thunder Road Facebook page, the Thunder Road email address, which you'll find in the show notes. With that being said, this first episode will be slightly different. I'll be introducing you to two individuals who will be making their own racing memories. These gentlemen have stepped up and are purchasing the South Texas Race Ranch, Bill Dunker and Corey Harden. Bill, you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, sir, I sure will. Thank you, James. I'm Bill Dunker. I've been self-employed for the last 40 years in construction, and the last 15 years doing real estate. Owned a small real estate company. Been racing for several years. Put my daughters in racing, and when the opportunity came up to buy the track, of course, and Corey as well. We talked about it, and our biggest interest was to keep racing, not so much to go into a business. But having said that, we're looking forward to maybe a few more podcasts down the road and have a good time.
Corey, tell us a little bit about yourselves and your adventures.
Well, I'm still working in the oil field still, lucky. Been racing off and on motorcycles, sailboats, never raced cars before. Got a chance to get in these cars about a year and a half ago and pretty much got hooked and bet my wife and I a car, and Bill come up to me and offered me a chance to get involved with the track, and it's almost too good to be true. We're excited.
Awesome deal. So we got a few questions just for the local racers to know. There's been a lot of scuttlebutt about the racetrack transition and what may or may not be going on. So just to kind of ease the minds of the local racers, what is y'all's long-term goals with the facility that we know as South Texas Race Ranch?
Well, I think first and foremost are the short-term goals, which was, of course, to keep Owen Pittman as the man in charge there, because none of us could do the job that he does. He does it very well, and that was our first order of business. We met with him on Friday actually, and he told us and showed us around. We've been racing there for years, or I have, and he showed things that need to be improved for small maintenance issues, all of them small, and we're going to address all of those first. There are several of them. And then our long-term goal, of course, is we're talking about building 10 shops, 20 by 30 shops that racers can rent and be on premise and have access to their cars. And I would, when I was racing, if I would have had an opportunity to have a shop at the track just to pull out and be there at the racetrack, keep my tools there, welder there, compressor there, all that stuff.
Just to keep you working on your stuff.
Oh man, it would have been awesome. So anyway, then we're going to build a big race car shop there for Steve Loy, who's like one of the biggest racing gurus I've ever met.
He's the mastermind of the mini mods.
Yeah, and he's raced everything, knows everything about pretty much all kinds of race cars. So we're going to build him a shop there. It keeps kind of getting bigger and bigger as we talk about it. So I don't know how big it's going to end up to be.
Is he going to be like security?
Well, yeah. And I've already picked him out a nice lawnmower.
Oh, perfect.
Mower.
Doug will love that. Doug will love some help.
And we, we want to make everything better in long term for the drivers and the fans. And that's another thing I like about Owen. He has always put the fans and drivers first, He's kind of a little bit of a hard ass sometimes, but
yeah, that's almost what it takes.
That's what it calls for.
That's what it takes with the racing folks sometimes. Is kind of a stern hand, but at the end of the day, he's always there making sure we have a place to race.
Absolutely.
And we do appreciate you guys stepping up and taking on this challenge. It's a big deal. The track has needed some repairs for years. No disrespect to any of the past owners, but it takes money, it takes time, and it takes a lot of effort. And those are things that need to be done at the track. So sounds like short term we're going to get some of the small problems taken care of, some fencing issues. I understand there's maybe some roof repairs that are going to be done. Sounds like some press box stuff's going to be handled, and then from there we'll just kind of branch off and see what happens.
Yeah, because I don't really want to get into all of them, but Corey and I have knocked back and forth so many ideas because, we want to make money with it, but we want to keep it racing. So we're going to maybe have a few other venues there, but the bottom line is still racing and trying to make it better for everybody.
I got you. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys stepping up and doing that for us. The local racing community, how can they help? How can they step in and help maybe with some of this transition? Is there anything that the racers can do to help promote what's going on? Is there anything the racers can do to try to just help achieve some of these short-term goals?
Well, yeah, if we're going to be building these shops, and it looks like we may actually build them ourselves because the price difference is right now with labor like it is and everything. Yeah. But if anybody that has a certain skill that maybe would want to chip in and help us with through any of the maintenance issues or anything else, just maybe. And Steve and I talked about this one time about maybe a membership club where and it's kind of detailed, but with guys that can come out and do things and help us would help immensely. Any volunteer work.
If you got any skills or any talents that you think would help these guys, get a hold of them. Get a hold of Bill. Get a hold of Corey. I'm sure they would be very appreciative of any help, whether it's just some labor or just some skill. So.
Yeah, and I always told Corey several times, none of us are as smart as all of us. So if any racers are out there, any fans, anybody has any input that could help us, we're going to listen to you. I promise you.
Corey, you got kind of quiet over there. You got anything to add on?
Well, kind of everything we talked about, other than more cars. Everybody get a little comfortable. The track's going to be there a while. You had a second idea about building a car. Now it's time to do it because we're going to be there a while. And
you guys are still racing. Y'all are still going to race the mini mods. Still going to compete with each other, and just like nothing ever happened. You're racers first, track owners second. I suppose that's how this is going to work out.
That's the biggest reason I got involved with being with the track. I got the cars built, got the first year under our belt, and having a blast, and I kind of want to race a few more years.
Well, good deal.
All of us do. And with the mini, I just built a new car. It's almost, as a matter of fact, I'm going to bring it to you tomorrow, the next day. So, and if anybody is interested in racing, and one of the things that, for fans or anybody that wants to buy a car, build a car, there's always somebody there at the track that'll talk to you about it. I mean, racers love to talk about their cars, and you can get all the info you need. And we, as a race car guy, you love it. You love people coming up and talking to you.
Well, good deal, guys. Thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for clearing the air. Owen Pittman was not able to make it today, but we will have him on future podcasts. Like I said, I do appreciate y'all's time, and thank you for coming.